diet thing again, whatever that was we just did. It was crazy, and it'll be over in a few hours. So, anyways, hey, I wanted to, oh God. Yeah, cool. All right, so, how many people want to get better? How many people want to get a lot better? There was a reason I brought this bottle of water up here. It has nothing to do with getting better. But what I work on all the time is self-improvement. And self-improvement, I think, is the key to your success. I mean, you can get better in Primerica, and that's great, but if you don't get better in yourself, you're not going anywhere. And Darren Hardy, if you've ever seen him, he was the publisher of Success Magazine for a long time. And he left, and he's done a lot of different programs out there and a lot of things, but I kind of stole it, and I'm going to share it with you today. Because I think, at least for me, when I first saw it, at first it was kind of like, oh. And then I was like, that's a load of crap. And then I'm like, he's completely and totally right. So as I speak to you over the next few minutes, here's what I want you to think about. You may do exactly the same thing. You may say, that's not me. And then you might say, oh yeah, that really is me. And then if it's not you, I want you to look at your kids, and I want you to look at your teammates, because you're going to find people exactly like this around you. And I'll tell you, without any doubt, I know it gave me a minimum of 2 hours back in your day. How many people would like at least 2 hours back in their day every day? I guarantee you at the end of this, you'll have it back, or you can be with Robert and grow bananas, or bunnies, that's what it was. Not bananas, bunnies, okay? So a hero's venture forth from the world of common day into a region of supernatural wonder, Primerica. Fabulous forces are there encountered, and a decisive victory is won. CDs are no more. All whole life agents are dead, and debt is destroyed. The heroes come back from this mysterious adventure with the power to bestow booms on his fellow man. 20 by 20 base shops with district promotions monthly. The ultimate aim of the quest must be not ecstasy for oneself, the ring, but the wisdom and the power to serve others. Promote RVPs. See, our business is not so much about developing ourselves, although that's part of it. It's about developing others. And how many others can you develop? And here's the beauty of it. I've said this 100 times, maybe 1,000 times. It's true. You get everything in life you want if you help enough others get what they want. And isn't that what our business is about? Isn't that what everybody's talked about today? So if you just work on helping others, you will get there. So this I love, right? I mean, does anybody believe this?
Yes.
Right? Listen, I don't know what your relationship is with God. All I believe is you ought to have one. Okay? And if you have a relationship with God, you believe that He or she or it put you here for a reason. And for me, Primerica is the reason. Because what I know is there are thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people out there who are not going to survive or not going to get to where they want to get to without us. And the reality is there aren't enough of us. So who wants to get some more us? Right? So I'm going to put my butt on the line again. We're going to get 100 recruits in our base shop in the next 12 months. That's part one of our goal. I'll give you the other one in a little bit. We all need to get more. And the beauty of it is every time we turn around, Terry's teaching us something else to say. I mean, it just, I don't know, it floors me sometimes. I'm amazed. But here's the thing I love about the last line. So you build a system or you steal somebody else's, and then you modify it. You work with what works for you. So here we go. We're going to go on this journey together, okay? To a new world. And I think the biggest thing, and God bless Michelle for saying this. Give Michelle another hand, please. Okay? You know, I just changed the words around a little bit. Instead of moving forward, we're going to play full out. And if you play full out, you'll have a bigger impact on the world. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired and waiting for people. And my biggest problem, I don't know where Terry is. Terry's in the back of the room somewhere. Okay. My biggest problem, Terry, is I accept maybe. And if you accept maybe, right? That's all you do, and I'm friggin' dizzy now. So, but that is not what you want to be. That's not what you want to do. And here's the challenge that we have, is that everything that we know is obsolete. In the 21st century, in 1,000 years, you can read that, we made up 20,000 years of progress. Look, I mean, I'm thinking this microphone I'm holding. I don't know how many years, those that are in music, how long ago was it Wallace? When did that happen? Used to be, I'd be like, you know, pulling something here, right? And I could only go so far because it was only as big as the cord, right? Analog service with dial-up. Oh my God. I like want to smack the computer now, right? If it doesn't move fast enough. We're all impatient, right? You know, you drive through the McDonald's and it takes them 2 seconds to make a cheeseburger. You know, oh, you know? Right? And I'm thinking coffee grind. What the hell are coffee grinds? Right? I got this Keurig thing. I put this little thing in. I can get any flavor I want. Right? And it's like 2 seconds. I mean, I can make a cup of coffee. In the time I'm going to give this talk today, I can make a cup of coffee and a Keurig for everybody in this room. Okay? How many pots will we have to make? It's ridiculous. But everything you know is obsolete because technology is changing so fast, it's crazy. And we have this huge success gap. See, you already know everything you need to know to be successful. You do. You had it before you came today. What we teach you here, at least what I believe we teach you here, is techniques and little things to get better. And what I'll tell you is take one. Don't try to take them all. I do believe that taking notes is essential so then you can pick something else later. But just pick one and add it and see what happens to your life. Okay? We're going from linear to exponential growth. Everything is going so much faster. So much quicker. And here's the thing. We were, or some of us, were the want it now generation. You ever feel like that? That little child, we want it now. The challenge is the millennials are, we have it now. And we really don't give a crap. So you're struggling working with those people all the time. We are a room full of heroes about to launch into the law of accelerating returns. How many want to double their income in the next year? That's part 2 of me putting my ass on the line. We're going to make $300,000 this year. Qualify for ownership. That's what we're going to do. Okay? Because with these rules, with these laws, and some changes in my life, I know we can do this. So you've got to move from time management to self-management. Okay? Time management is complete and total BS. You can't manage time. It's going to go with the same speed no matter at what speed you move at. The only thing you can manage is yourself. And you manage yourself by the daily habits you practice and what you do. See, the great battle in life is not man against the world, it's man against self. It's you against yourself. You decide on a daily basis what you do. You decide if you accept maybe. I love what Terry taught us. You're either going to tell me yes or no, and you know, I really don't care. Why? Because there's 20, 30, 40, 50 other people that want to spend time with me. And I don't have time to spin around in a circle and get dizzy. But I love the idea of walking out the door and saying, I'll be back in 15 minutes. You got that long to decide whether it's yes or no. And that makes it so much cleaner in terms of a relationship, so much easier to do things. So don't seek a better app. Seek a better aptitude. See, it's not about adding things to your devices and figuring this out and being more creative and whatever. Seek a better aptitude. Seek a better way of doing things. Seek something that works for you, not something that works for the rest of the world. So here's the challenge that we have. Okay? Oh, it's not a challenge, it's a skill. Okay. Learning to control your attention, preventing distractions. We are the most distracted age, whatever you want to call it, ever. There's so much stuff around, and the problem is, this is attached to your friggin' hip. Okay? Now, I appreciate the fact that everybody has turned it off today. But guys and gals, how many of you secretly enjoyed a vibration at some point in time in the last 4 hours? Okay? Because that's what we do, right? We've got to be connected. Oh my God, my dog went to the bathroom and I have to see a picture of it. I need to know that the score of the game that doesn't matter to me anyways is this. It's important for me to understand what's going on in the world at all times. But how do you actually impact it? How do you actually interact with it? More importantly, how does it really affect your life? It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And the thing of it is it's making us even more and more lazy and even more emotionally immature. So the question is, what are we going to do about it? Well, before we do something, we need to learn a little bit. And here's the thing. Your body is controlled by 3 brains. There are 3 parts to your brain. The first, and probably the biggest, is the robot brain. And the robot brain controls 95% of what happens for you all the time. Do you have to think about breathing? When you're thirsty, does the water just kind of show up for some reason? If you have to go to the bathroom, you just go, right? You just sleep, you eat. There are all these things that happen for you automatically. And that's the robot brain that controls things. And the reality of it is if we could put some more things into the robot brain, we would be so much better. And when we talk about habits, habits are things that go into the robot brain. But I'm going to share with you in a minute some scary statistics about what is happening now because of all these electronic devices and because of all these things. Now the scary part is this guy. The challenge is the other 5% of your brain is controlled by a monkey. Ooh, shiny object. Oh, squirrel. Oh, need to do this. Gonna do that. You're completely and totally distracted. And what's the number 1 distraction in your life? Kids? What's the number 1 distraction in your life? Your cell phone. Your cell phone. I'm going to share some stuff about it that's going to scare you in a minute. But here's the thing. That's the monkey brain. Every time anything beeps or blurps or burps or does any other bodily function, the monkey brain's like, where'd that come from? Oh my God, that's exciting. Let me go see that. Let me do this. Oh, shiny. And it distracts you from everything else. So you can't accomplish what you're trying to do. How many times on average do you think your cell phone goes off in a day? About 2,600. 26, if you turn, now here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you this in a minute, turn them all off. If all the alerts on your cell phone are on, for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, email, text message, what did you say? Group me, right? Hell, if we're all successful, it's 400, right? But here's the beauty of it. You can turn it off, right? And then take 5 minutes or 10 minutes at a later time and go through it and deal with it efficiently. Okay, but 2,600 times a day. And if you actually paid attention to all 2,600, you'd never get anything done. The key is, we want this guy to take over. Okay? This is what's called the sage brain. I don't know how to, if somebody wants to define sage at some point, like knowledgeable or wise or something like that, honey, I had to ask my wife because I just don't know these stuff. You know? It's a 4-letter word. I was really challenged, okay? But you have to let the wise part of you take over, right? I think, honestly, Terry, the most valuable thing I've gotten out of the school is, you know, I've always said maybe sucks, but I never had a way to deal with it yet. For me, that was the most valuable thing I learned today. Thank you. But that's what we have to do, right? We have to eliminate the things that distract the monkey that keep us from achieving our goals and dreams and what we want to do. So here's the thing, and I've said it already, and I'm going to say it about 500 times before we're done. Turn off all the alerts. Now here's the other thing. as I've walked around here today, I think I've seen better than 50 people effing around with these devices. Now, I know some of you are taking notes, or at least claiming to take notes on it, okay? But we don't need to check Facebook and do Instagram or play whatever card game you've got going on that thing because you think my talk is boring, okay? You need to, and this is the most important thing my coach taught me several years ago. It's 3 simple words. Write it down. Be here now. You need to be present in the current situation. I leave my phone in the car. I don't take it in with a client. If I'm not doing an application, my iPad stays in the car. Okay? And one of the things, I'll give you a clue for folks that have glasses. If you're trying to meet with somebody or have a conversation, I'm going to be distracted by everything else that's going on in this room. I'll take my glasses off because I can't see anybody but the guy in front of me. And I can focus my attention on that person. But I can't see anybody now. So work on that. Work on that. Man, how many people can relate to that? Right? It has nothing to do with time. It has to do with how you feel. And the problem is a lot of times we feel like crap. And because we feel like crap, we think Facebook will make us feel better. Or Instagram or whatever. Truthfully, how many people in this room have ever taken a picture of a plate of food? And then posted it on something? Right? What in the world is that? I will tell you over the last week, if you did that, it really pissed me off. Okay? And what does that do? Oh wow, I want to be recruited by that person because they got some really cool chicken on their plate. What does that do for you? Okay? Over time, willpower will fail. You have to have a system in place for dealing with all this stuff. You know, I tell people now, I'm first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and I'll check my email in the middle of the day. Because if I respond to everything that's going on on my phone and my device, I mean, I think we got 7 in the office. So if I turn the alerts on all of them, I would never get any Primerica business done whatsoever. Here's the thing that's kind of cool. I can't believe the one in the middle. The 89% of people do not complete the top 3 tasks on their to-do list on any given day based on distractions. Top 3 things. What if like the top 3 things were like to take out the trash, to wash the dishes, you know, and to get the laundry? Do you think your kid, now, do you know why now your kids don't get their chores done? Right? They can't, I mean, you know, CJ will call me, he said, okay, Dad, I remember what the first thing was. What were the other 2 things you asked me to do? You know what I say? Well, go back and look at the text message I sent you, stupid. Right? But the problem is we become reliant on these devices so much, it's absolutely crazy. So here are some of the statistics, which has absolutely scared me. Average teenager, 4,000 texts a month. Within 6 minutes of waking up, they'll send one. 53% of people reported checking their email while they drive. One of the challenges and one of the things I do now, my phone goes in the back seat. Okay, 61% continue to check email while on vacation. It's not really a vacation if you're still looking at everything. Office workers waste up to 40 hours a week checking email. And if they only work 40 hours, how many hours did they actually work? Okay? 67% check their phones without alerts. And this one I love, 75% admit to taking their phone to the bathroom. Be wary the next time you ask to borrow somebody's cell phone. Okay? Because God only knows where it's been. And I'll tell you, there's never been any business that I've needed to do in there that I had to wait long enough to take Facebook with me. 67% can't get out of bed without checking their inbox. Why in the world do you even bring these things to bed? Now people want to know what the problem with sex is in America? It's impossible to have a relationship with your spouse and your electronic device at the same time. And I'm not going to try it. And that's the last you're going to hear of it, because as soon as I get over there, she's going to smack me upside the head. Probably deserve it. But you have this new mental condition. It's called digiphrenia. Digiphrenia. And it's more addictive than drugs, more addictive than alcohol, more addictive than anything else you can think of. And you've got to get rid of it. What it's doing is rerouting your brain. Everybody remember the story of Pavlov's dog? Right? Ring a bell, food, ring a bell, food, ring a bell, food. That's what these alerts are. They're the same thing. Every time the bell rings, this is what happens. It's somebody telling me they love me. That's not what the message really said, but that's what I heard. So I'm going to listen to them some more. Maybe I can turn on more alerts. That's the challenge we all have. And the thing is, if you take a second and look at them, this is what I love at the bottom. So it only takes you, what, a minute or a second or whatever? But it takes you 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get back on course. Because what happens is, you go check everything else at that time. So if you just did this 5 or 6 times a day, there's your 2 hours. Now, nobody will be shot for answering this question, okay? How many of you check your stuff more than 5 or 6 times a day? The rest of you are lying. Those of you may be shot. But that's the challenge we have. That's the challenge we have. So we have to go to war against these distractions. And it's not a difficult thing. You turn your device on and you go through app by app and you turn everything off. And you have to turn it off on your cell phone, on your iPad, on your tablet. Even in your computer, you have to go to your settings and turn those things off. I turned my computer on and oh my God, I got 75 Facebook messages from 45 people I don't even know. But I feel compelled to respond to them because I want more of this. So I can't get anything done. I'm in the middle of an application trying to complete it. Oh, I gotta go check that out. And I come back, I'm like, was that $50 or $100? What were they gonna do? And I gotta go check that out. And I never get the application done. It's really easy to have to. So this digital addiction is actually crazy. Look at this list for a minute and ask yourself these questions. To me, the 2 worst were bringing your device to church. And I actually know that people do that because our internet in church crashes because there's so many devices there. And the other one is I check my device before I brush my teeth. What kind of pig are you? I mean, I know I can't smell your breath through your smartphone, but I think there's some other people around who'd like you to take care of that garlic you had last night. But these are the habits you need to break. These are the things that you need to do differently so you don't get distracted. Now it gets even a little bit more serious here. Compulsive use of mobile phones, computers, and tablets is an addiction similar to sex, drugs, and alcohol. Not rock and roll, sex, drugs, and alcohol. It releases a dopamine that gives you a buzz. So now here's the added problem, right? Now what we've got going on here is that feels really good. It is hollow. have some more. It's actually starting to hurt. But you have to be careful with this stuff, right? And what scares me the most is what I see kids doing with this. One of my favorite ones, I don't know if it already came up or whatnot, is I'll ask you this question. Have you ever texted somebody who was in your own house so you could get their attention? You ever been at an event and texted somebody? Did somebody just do it?
Yeah, my son does it all the time.
Yeah. I admitted to do it. I admit, look, no shame, right? We're sitting on the couch next to each other. You know?
Could take the TV.
I'm sitting here next to you. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. CJ, what are you doing? I'm sitting here next to you. No, you're not. You're playing a video game. But we do those things. We do those things because for some reason, we love that. And the reality is it's sucking everything else out of your body. Okay? So you've got nomophobia too, by the way. Okay? It's the fear of being out of contact with your phone. Any of you ever done that? Where is it? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm like outside the house and it's not attached to me and I don't know where I left it and what happened. And the worst part about it is these iPhones got iPhone finders. You telling me I need another device to find the device that's giving me more distractions? What in the world is up with that? That's absolutely crazy. And see, I don't know about you, I think I'd give up exercise. But they ask people what the top 3 would be. And I'm like, I think the first 3 are like essential to life or something. Right? Because you don't get all of those. I mean, if you don't have those 3, you have a pretty miserable life, don't you? That's just been my experience. I don't know what yours is. There'll be a therapy session after the school to discuss this further. And there will be caffeine and chocolate involved. But it's like a drug. And I know for a fact, honey, I love you very much, but I know for a fact my wife would give up shoes in a minute. Because she loves being barefoot. And there's probably a lot of people there like that. I don't, the exercise thing is that, one of these things doesn't belong here. But the rest of them, it just makes me sick. I can't, I don't know. I just don't understand it. They're sick people, what can I say? So, just next slide? Okay, next slide. You guys are upset about that. Okay, that's causing a problem. Okay, so, all right. Actually, I feel like I should leave it there a little bit longer, shouldn't I? All over way. All right, did I go all the way to the end? No. So where are we? Oh, we have that one? All right, good. So here. So the number 1 addiction we have is we want to be wanted. I was telling you about that, all right? Every email, tweet, text, blog, Facebook, whatever. We suffer from the disease to please. That's why we accept maybe, right? That's why we let our clients sometimes take advantage of us, treat us like crap, not allow us to be who we're going to be. Because what we are addicted to is pleasing people, and all of these distractions please us. They give you a lot of